this Rosenblatt model on the based on the McCulloch-Pitts model. Then you can use as a classifier to solve this linear problem. But whenever you encounter a nonlinear problem like this XOR problem that you have already seen, you cannot separate this problem by just having a linear boundary. Then this singular perceptron algorithm it will not work. So that is why this multi-layer perceptron model, it is called the MLP, and the algorithm which is used for this multi-layer perceptron is called the backpropagation algorithm. Okay, so now actually the backpropagation algorithm, it is a fundamental building block in a neural network. Okay, and it was first introduced in 1960s, and after 30 years, so it became popularized by Rumelhart, Hinton, and Williams. So these are the three researchers. So they have done this tremendous contribution in the field of the backpropagation algorithm. After 30 years, so they have published a paper you can search called "Learning Representation by Backpropagating Errors." Okay, so now this whenever you are going to implement, when you are going to use MLP as a classifier, multi-layer perceptron model, then you have to apply the backpropagation algorithm. Okay, why backpropagation algorithm, that you will get to know. So before that, this multi-layer perceptron, actually it is a feed forwarding neural network with one or more hidden layers. Why it is called the feed forwarding? You are feeding the input in forward directions. So you have seen this entire network. Okay, so based, if you just increase this hidden layer, then this network is becoming more complex. Okay, so now for to understand, to apply the multi-layer neural network, or it is called the MLP, it is a class of feed-forward ANN, feed-forward artificial neural network, and it will have one or more hidden layer. And this network consists of an input layer, so input layer of source neurons, because you need to have the input layer where the input nodes will be there or input neurons will be there. So now these inputs will be represented through these input layers. Okay, so it is called the source neurons. So at least you need to have one hidden layer or one middle layer, okay, of computational neurons, because each layer in each hidden layer, each node, you have to apply some activation function. So this activation function is a nonlinear activation function. Okay, so that's why in the network you will have input layer which will have the source neurons, and at least you have to have one middle layer or one hidden layer that will which will deal with the computational neurons, and an output layer. So output layer, that it will generate the output that you are about to obtain, or you are going to get through your problem statement. So three important things. One is input layer, on the hidden layer, in the output layer. On the other hand, whenever you seen, whenever you have seen this single layer perceptron model, so only you have the input layer and the output layer. So there is no kind of hidden layer was introduced, because the problem was linearly separable. But here the problem are non-linearly, it is not the linearly separable. So that is why one hidden layer is introduced, or middle layer is introduced between input layer and the output layer. Okay, and the input signals. So why it is called the feed forward? Means you are feeding the input in forward directions. So forward direction means from the input layer to the output layer. So that it is called the forward direction, and backward direction means from the output layer to the input layer. So now we are feeding the input in the forward direction, and why you are going to apply the backpropagation algorithm? Because you are propagating the errors in the backward directions from output layer to the input layer via the middle layer. So that's why it is called the backpropagation. you are propagating the errors. The means error mean the error will be generated in the hidden layer as well as in the output layer. So from the output layer, that this error will be generated means y desired minus y actual. So if y is considered to be output, then y desired minus y actual for each iteration that you are going to generate, or each epoch you are going to generate, and you are going to propagating back the error in the backward directions. So that's why it is called the back propagation algorithm. So now these are the graphical representation of a multi-layer perceptron model with two hidden layers. So in the first layer, this is the input signals. So input signal means you have the inputs. If the inputs is in d-dimensional input, so x1 to xd. If it is n-dimensional input, so x1 to xn, that will be represented through this input layer. Then you have the hidden layer, that is called the first hidden layer. So you can increase the hidden layer based on the degree of non-linearity of your problem statement. So if one hidden layer is enough to handle this non-linearity problem, then it's fine. You can go with this with the one hidden layer. But if you feel that the one hidden layer is not enough, I mean these separations that the one hidden layer is not enough to linearly separable, or to classify these datas into two into groups, or into two classes, or this n classes problem, then you have to introduce another hidden layer, and this is called the output layer, where these output signals are generated. So now the questions comes that first of all, that what actually why do we call that it is a hidden layer, and what is the role of the hidden layer, and what does it actually hide? What does it actually hide? So hidden layer actually hides because you are not supposed to see the what is the desired output that the hidden layer will generate. So hidden layer, it hides its desired output. Okay, and these whatever neurons or nodes that you are going to use in the hidden layer, it cannot be observed through this input output behavior of the network, and there is no other way to know what is the desired output of the hidden layers. So should be, it actually hides the desired output of the hidden layer. So that's why it is called the hidden layer, because you are not supposed to see what is the output that is being generated. So now mostly so you'll be interested to know that how many hidden layers that you can use in your case, or that is a commercial, because whenever the NN is used in the commercial perspective, a commercial NN incorporate 3 or sometimes 4. So more hidden layer you are going to increase, so you are going to attract more computationally intensive, because you need to first train this network model. So for this training it takes time. Okay, based on your data sets and based on your how many hidden layers that you are going to use. So but testing, that is very fast that you can do. Once the network has been trained, then you are going to test it, then you can have the quick answer. So now during training it takes time, and if you increase these more hidden layers, so obviously that it is computationally more heavy. Why? Because so many computation will be there. You have to compute this output of each layer, and also you have to generate this error. And if there is a huge difference between your actual output and the actual output which is generated by the network and the desired output, then that is an error. Then this error has to be minimized. So this error has to be minimized in such a way that means error minimization techniques means that you have to tuning this parameter. Okay, so we have to apply the gradient descent method, or simply we can have the delta rule. Okay, so mostly in the NN, in the backpropagations algorithm, we are going to use the gradient descent method for minimizing this error. And while minimizing this error, these parameters like this weight W and bias V, so weight and V will be tuned in such a way so that the error will be minimized. So that is the main objective. Okay, the commercial NN, it incorporates 3 or sometimes 4 layers, including 1 or 2 hidden layer, and each layer will contain from 10 to 1000 neurons. So it is entirely heuristic. Okay, so it is not a fixed model or these fixed things that you can choose. So you can have based on your problem statement. So you can choose this each layer will have actually it is a range from 10 to 1000. Experimental neural networks that we use may have 5 or 6 layers, including 3 or 4 hidden layers, and it utilizes millions of neurons. So now this, as I already told you, that is a you have to this network has to be trained. So this is the multi-layer perceptron network, but this network has to be trained. Okay, because training means you have to apply some algorithm to learn this network with some data sets. Okay, so once the learning is complete, okay, then this so learning is complete means that error that has been reduced, minimized with these training data sets, and this weights vector has been updated. Then if you give any test data, then it will give it to this correct answer. So that's why you need to do some learning. For the learning, you are going to use the backpropagations algorithm. Okay, so now this learning in the multi-layer perceptron network or multi-layer network, it proceeds the same way as for a perceptron. I mean, this we have already seen in the singular perceptron. We are going to we have used some learning algorithm. That is a delta rule for one step by step that we have seen. Okay, three or four steps that we have used. This is the same way we have to do for the multi-layer perceptron. You need to have a training set of input patterns, as I already told you. Okay, this you need to, as we are going to do the supervised classification techniques, because NN is a supervised. Okay, so you know the class level of the data, and this training data set is given to you, and this training set of the input patterns is presented to the network, and this network, it computes its output pattern, and if there is an error, okay, or in otherwise, if you find a difference between the actual and the desired output pattern, then the errors, how we are going to reduce the error, you have to adjust this weights in such a way so that this error is going to be reduced. So that is your main objective. So you have a you have a parameters. There is a parameters are weights and user bias. So you have to, and if you have the cost, now the cost of the error. So if you written in terms of the capital E, then you have to do the partial differentiation of this function. Actually, it is a function approximation of your inputs. Okay, okay. Then this functions has to be minimized, or you have to do the partial differentiation with respect to bias and with respect to weights. So that is your main aim. Now in backpropagations neural network, whenever you are going to apply the backpropagation neural network, the learning algorithm has two phases. Okay, in the first phase, what you have to do, so very important things. Okay, so in the backpropagation, so the learning algorithm, you will have the two phase. In the first phase, a training input pattern that you are going to use in the input layer, it is being represented to the network input layer, and the network propagates the input pattern from layer to layer, from input layer to hidden layer, then hidden layer to output layer, from layer to layer until the output pattern is generated by the output layer. So this is the first thing. Okay, because this training input pattern that you have to represent it in this way, and you have to propagate it in the forward direction. So that's why you are feeding the input in the network till you can reach or you can obtain the output in the output pattern which is being generated layer. Now you have to check if this pattern is different. I mean the output pattern that has been generated by the output layer, if it is different from the desired output that you are looking for, then this error is generated, and this error is calculated. Okay, then you have to measure the error. Then after measuring the error, that if you are seeing this this is an error is large, then you have to propagating back the error through this network from output layer to the input layer. Okay, and the error is reduced after tuning these weights. Now the weights are modified as the errors are back propagated. So that is the concepts. Okay, first you have to generate this output in the output layer, then you have to you have to check whether your desired output is matching with this actual output or not. Okay, if it is not, then the error is generated. Then this error that you need to minimize. How are you going to minimize? You need to back propagate it in the backward direction. So whenever you are going to back propagate it, then the weights are modified as the error is propagating, because as I already told you, in each neuron that you will have to use an activation function. So from the activation function that you have to these weights and bias are, I mean, they play around these functions. So that is the things. So these are the things. That is a simply we are using this 3-layer backpropagation neural network. Suppose you have a n-dimensional input which is represented in the input layer. So x1, x2, x3, then xi in the ith neurons. Then it is first neuron, then second neuron, that is a ith neuron, or it is a node simply in the input layer. Then you have the nth neuron. So nth neuron is there in the input layer. Next, in the middle layer or the hidden layer, you have 1, 2. Then it is a jth neuron in the hidden layer. It is a mth neuron, and as you can see, so there is a link. Okay, link has been established from each node of the input layer to every other nodes in the hidden layer. Now, so these things will be, it should be 1, 1, then 1, 2, then 1, 3, then 1, 4. You can think of it in this way, or 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, j, 1, m. Or now if you consider for the one particular node, then it should be w, I, j. Okay, now this wij, it is a, there is a ith neuron from the input layer and jth neuron in the hidden layer. So that then there is an weight, there is a weight is there that is denoted by wij. Now similarly, this hidden layer will generate some output, but you are not supposed to, I mean, observe or this output which is generated by the hidden layer. So now these things is going to be, I mean, obviously, so there is a link from the hidden layer to the output layer. Okay, now as you can see, there's a in the output layer, so you have the kth neuron and you have the lth neuron, and these are these I mean input layer. Okay, so it is a first layer, then this is a second layer, then it is an nth layer. So you can consider in this way. Now there obviously a weight, so that is a wjk, because this jth neuron, because in the weight vector, so this is a first subscript, that is a j, it is denoted by the previous layer neuron. So that is a jth neuron in the of the hidden layer, and k is another subscript, so it is a kth neuron in the output layer. Then this output layer is going to generate this y1 is generated, this is output 1, y2, yk, then yl. I mean that for each node this output is going to be generated, and whenever this output is generated over here, and if you are going to check if y1 minus y1 hat, if there is an error, then the error signal has to be back propagated. So that's why, as you can see, there's a error signal that is a in the backward direction. So these errors is, whenever the error is going to be back propagated in the backward direction, so you need to do the gradient descent algorithm. So how means, what is the things I'll explain. Okay, which formula that you have to apply and how we are going to back propagate it. So after this way, then you need to converge it. Okay, so because there is a chance that whenever you are apply the gradient descent algorithm, so this for propagating back the error in the backward direction, then you can get stuck in the local minimum. Okay, and when the network is trained, so means there is a no significant changes of these outputs. Then this network has been trained, and these parameters will be the optimal parameters for on which optimal parameters, because W and B you have to compute on which optimal parameters, or what is the value of optimal parameters for which this network has been trained properly. I mean that whenever I am telling this network is trained properly, it means there is a no significant change of these outputs. Okay, then you stop the algorithm or you stop the iteration, then you test it. So that is the way that you can apply. So now I'll explain the steps that how you can apply it. So before that, as you can tell, I can say that the MLP multilayer perceptron, it is a class of feed forward artificial neural network, because you are feeding the input in the forward direction. So that's why, as you can see in the picture graphical representation, the input signals are shown in the forward direction and the error signals are shown in the backward direction. Okay, so that's why it is a class of MLP is a class of feed forward artificial neural network, and in MLP it consists of at least 3 layers of nodes. You need to have at least 3 layers. So out of 3 layers of node, one layer which indicates the input layer, then a hidden layer and an output layer. Okay, then except for the input nodes, each node is a neuron which uses a nonlinear activation functions. So here this is output hidden layer and the output layer. So except for the input nodes, each node is a neuron and that uses a nonlinear activation function, because we are, as this your problem is not linearly separable, so that is why you are applying this multilayer perceptron. So now that each node it is considered to be a neuron and which uses a nonlinear activation function. So multilayer perceptron actually utilizes supervised learning techniques. MLP utilizes a supervised learning techniques because you are going to use as a classifier. Okay, so NN is going to be used as a classifier, but provided that this perceptron model that you are going to apply, it is a multi-layer perceptron model. So now this MLP it utilizes a supervised learning techniques which is called, this is a backpropagations now for training. Okay, and its multiple layers and this nonlinear activation distinguish the MLP from a linear perceptron. That is the very important. So it's multi-layers or multiple layers. As you can see, there's the input layer, hidden layer, and the output. If we have more than one hidden layer, it is also fine. So it's multiple layer and nonlinear activation functions. Okay, so nonlinear activation function distinguish multilayer perceptron from a linear perceptron model. So in the linear perceptron, which was proposed by the Rosenblatt, and it was based on the McCulloch and Spitz model. So as we have already discussed, so it handles only the linearly separable data. So that is why the beauty of this model is that, so you can any nonlinear problems can be handled using this model, and which is different than a linear perceptron model, and it can distinguish data which is not linearly separable. So for that reason, you can apply the backpropagation algorithm in your case. So that is so this picture that must be stored in your memory. This picture must be stored in your memory, so to understand it. Okay, now we'll see step by step how this is same way, because you need to apply the training algorithm, because this network has to be trained. So here's a few mathematics are there. You just follow these steps. If you follow these steps, then it will automatically. Here only just you need to focus that you need to do the differentiation. The delta function is there. This delta function that you need to differentiate, because it is an error function with respect to two parameters. One is bias, another is your weight. That's it. Okay, the same way that we have done. So now, as you are going to solve the optimization technique problem, then obviously you need to do the partial differentiation. Why partial differentiation? Because as you are going to have more than one parameters, so that's why you are going to do the partial differential calculus. Okay, so now you first step is that initializations you have to set. So now initially to train this network, you have to choose these weights and the threshold randomly. Okay, so now set all weights and threshold level of the network to random numbers. So that is a uniformly distributed inside a small range. So this value is an empirical value, that is a minus 2.4 by Fi to plus 2.4 Fi. So where Fi is actually Fi is a total number of inputs of neuron I, that you have to see how many total number of inputs of neuron I in the network. So the weight initialization is done by neuron basis. That is important, and you'll have to use it as a how you are initially how you are going to choose the weight. So it is a randomly you can choose it as the same process that you have already followed for your single layer perceptron model. Next is activation. Okay, you have to activate this backpropagation neural network. Okay, so you have to activate these backpropagations neural network by applying the inputs, that is a x1p, x2p. So each p is denoted as a your epoch. Okay, and desired output uh, yd1p, yd2p, and y. Activate the you have to activate the backpropagation neural network by applying the inputs x1p, x2p, and xnp. Okay, and the desired output, that is denoted by y small d. For this is your d1, small d2. Okay, and this small dnp. Now what you have to do, you have to calculate the actual output of the neurons in the hidden layer. So in each hidden layer, the output is going to be generated for this corresponding layer. As I already told you that for each except this input neuron, so each node is considered to be a it is a neuron, and which user is a nonlinear activation function. So here we are going to use this sigmoidal function. For sigmoidal function, because it is a monotonic non-decreasing function, and you can find the differentiation at every point. So that is why we are going to use this sigmoidal function. Okay, now this you have to calculate this output of the neurons in each hidden layer. So yjp is equal to, so it is now if you have this j is called, this is a neurons. If you have the n neurons, so if you have the 3 neurons, for each neuron you have to compute this output. Okay, so sigmod I is equal to 1 to n xip, all these I mean inputs, that is a p into wijp minus theta j. Okay, where n is the number of inputs of neuron j, as I already told you, in the hidden layer, and sigmod is a sigmoidal activation function. Next, you have to calculate this actual output of the neurons in the output layer. So now what you have to do, there is a two things that you need to compute whenever you are going to do the backpropagation. One is this, what is the actual output of the neurons in hidden layer, and what is the actual output of the neurons in the output layer. So two things that you need to compute. Okay, so here this is a m is the number of inputs of the neuron k in the output layer. Okay, this is a formula is same, only that outputs of the hidden layer and outputs of the output layer. Okay, so first one is yjp. Okay, for this j neurons in the hidden layer, and there is a ykp. This is a kth neuron in the output layer. Next is step number 3. Now, as you can see, you have to check. There's a weight training. So you have to update the weights in the backpropagation network. Okay, so update this weight in the backpropagation network, and you have to propagating the errors in backward direction, and or you have to that's propagating backward the errors which are associated with the output neuron. So now here you have to calculate the error gradient. So That is the important here. This is a gradient descent algorithm. So you have to calculate the error gradient for the neurons in the output layer first. So that is a del kp is ykp into 1 minus ykp into ekp. So this is the formula, and where ekp is equal to, it is just simply ydkp, it is a desired output, minus ykp, it is an actual output. So it is called the ekp. So you just simply have very simple formula, ykp into 1 minus ykp, it is an actual output, into ekp. Now you have to calculate, it is a delta rule, you are going to apply this delta rule. So that is called the delta kp. Now so now you just recall the formula in the this previous formula that we have done while doing the single layer perceptron model. That is a delta, okay, of wjkp. Okay, so you are going to do these weight corrections in this whenever you are going to propagating back from is your k to j. Okay, so from the output layer to this input, this is a hidden layer, then wjkp. So for the jth neuron in the hidden layer, kth neuron in the output layer. So now you have to do this weight correction, because you need to do the weight correction while propagating the errors in the backward direction. Yj into p. So yj, what is yj? So it is called the jth output, I mean jth neuron output in the hidden layer. This is a p for, this is an what is p? P is an epoch. How many epochs? Into delta kp. So delta kp is equal to the error gradient of this, that is a kth neurons in the hidden this output layer. So these are the formula. There is a alpha into yjp into delta kp. Now you have to update the weights. Now you have to update this weight in at the output neuron, because this is a this, whenever you are going to updating it, so in the hidden layer, so you need to take out the taking into consideration the output in this weights in the previous layer. So that is the thing, because from each layer you are going to back propagating back from the output layer to input in output layer to hidden layer. Then whenever you're going to compute this update of the weights in the hidden layer, then you need to consider these weights, the corrected weights of the output layer. Then only you can do it. So that is why update these weights at the output neurons. So it is a wjkp plus 1 is equal to wjkp, which is already there. Okay, plus I mean what is the wjkp? It is a previous layer, plus this is a delta, this is a weight correction wjk into p. So that is the thing. So here whenever you are going to do the weight corrections in the output neurons, okay, then you have to take these things, you have to take the weights in the previous layer. I mean previous layers means from this hidden layer to output layer. So that is the weight corrections in the I mean these weights, plus this is a weight correction that you have done. So these are the formula that is called the weight training. So every time for each epoch you have to compute this for the neurons in the output layer. So now similarly, so actually as you can see, there is a two outputs that has been generated from by the network. One is from the hidden layer output, another is output layer. So similarly, when you are going to propagating back, so you need to also calculate the error gradient for the neurons in the output layer as well as the hidden layer. So now here you have to calculate this error gradient for the neurons in the hidden layer also. So the formula is the same thing, yjp into y, as you can see, that is a, here it was a ykp into 1 minus ykp. As you are doing this error gradient in the output layer, now whenever you are going to do in the hidden layer, then yjp into j for the jth neuron in the hidden layer. So that's why it is yjp into 1 minus yjp. Okay, and here only ekp was there because there is a single output that is being generated, but here you have this summation of all the neurons output. So that is why you are going to have k is equal to 1 to L del kp into y jkp. So these summations will come up. Okay. Then you have to calculate this weight correction. This similarly same way. That is as you can see, there is a weight correction wjkp. It was there. You have to do this wij. So why ij was there? Because this I for the ith neuron in the input layer. Okay, this is IJP, and there is a alpha into xi into p. Xi is the inputs. Okay, and into delta. That is a, as you can see here this here there is a YJP, because in the previous layer that you have to consider. That's why YJP was there, because J was considered to be a in the hidden layer. So that's why. But here the why xi, because you have to take out the previous layer output also. So that is a xip. So xi is the previous layer of the hidden layer. Actually there's an input layer. So xip is coming up. Then delta jp. Okay. Now you have to again update the weights at the hidden layer. Then whenever you're going to update in the hidden layer, then you have to take out this is an wijp. If you have more than one hidden layer, then you have to also consider this in this way, wijp plus delta of wij into p. This same process that you have already followed here. Okay, here only you have done for this. You have done the error gradient for the neurons in the output layer. Here you have done this error gradient for this neurons in the hidden layer. So that is the thing. Next, whenever you have done, then your step number 4 iteration. Now you have to increase the iteration p by 1 and go back to step 2. Okay, now step 2, again you have to compute the activation function for the other neurons. Okay, now here go back to step 2 and repeat the process until the selected error criterion is satisfied. Okay, that how much error that you are going to have. Okay, so now you have to choose that if your error is very less. I mean, if the error that you have computed, if it is less than of 001 or something like that, then you have to stop the algorithm. As an example, we may consider the 3-layer backpropagations network. Suppose this network is required to perform a logical operation exclusive OR. As you can see, exclusive OR is not linearly separable. Now you can, if you can recall a single layer perceptron, so these problems cannot be solved. So now we'll apply the 3-layer net. Now that is a exclusive OR. How you can solve it? Because based on your input, because in the exclusive OR, that how many maximum input that you can take? 2. Okay, 0 0. I mean, you have different combinations 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. So that's why maximum you can have the 2 neurons in the or 2 nodes simply in the input layer, and that is the x1 and x2. Now you have only one output, so that is a got this y. So y actual or simple, because you know the desired output, because 0 0 0 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 1 0. So this is the output that you know already. So now this network has to learn that whenever you are giving any unknown data, so unknown data means instead of given means 0, so I am going to have very 0.0001. Instead of giving 1, I am giving 0.89. So these are my test sample. Okay. Now if your network is trained correctly, then obviously if 0.001 is close to 0 and 0.92, so it is close to 1. Now this 0.1, it should produce me 1. So that is the thing. Okay, so now that's the things, that how much threshold that you are going to choose or how you are going to use it. So here also there is a connectivity y W13, W23, W24. Okay, here it should be W14. So there is a mistakes is there. From 1 to 4, it should be 14, not 24. Okay, and in the hidden layer you have, this is an theta 3 and theta 4, for it is in bias, that is a theta 4. and then from the theta 3 from this node number or this neuron 3 of the hidden layer, when we're going to go to this neuron 5 in the output layer, it is W35, then W45. In the theta 5 you will have this -1. It is a bias. So and you can generate this only one output. So this is the network model that you can have. So now the effect of the threshold you can apply to a neuron in the hidden layer or output layer, and which is represented by its weight theta, and it connected to the fixed input equal to -1. So we have chosen this is in these things theta. Now the initial weights and the threshold levels that are set randomly. Now you follow this rule, how we are going to choose this uniformly distributed this weight, that is a W13 we are choosing 0.5, W14, W23, W24, W35, this is an W45. Now you are going to choose the W theta 3, it is a threshold. Actually it is a it is -1, so it is in bias, that is in theta 3. Theta is connected to the particular input which is equal to the -1, but this theta 3 you are going to choose 0.8 is theta 4 minus 0.20. I mean you can choose in a random. There is a no hard and fast rule that the values that we have chosen here, so you can also take the same one. So you can choose any other values also. Okay, so it depends that it is not necessarily true that if you choose any bad values that your network is not to be trained. It's not like that. It takes time. So based on the choosing the initial value, it takes time to settle down this network, means upgrading these weights. So now initially, so there's a hands-on application, so you can test it by yourself. I can send you this PPT, you can check it. Now you have to consider a training set where the input x1 and x2 are equal to 1 and the desired output is 0. So 1 is 0. Now actual output that you need to generate, or actual output of neuron 3 and 4 of the hidden layer are calculated, because you need to calculate this, what is the actual output of 3 and actual output of 4 in the hidden layer. So y3 and y3 and y4 that you have to compute. The same process you have to use x1 into w13 plus x2 into w23 minus theta. Okay, now you know this, what is the sigmoidal function, 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x. So it is a 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x. So you know this value. Then you are simply use it, that you are going to end up with 0.5250. Similarly for y4, that 0.8808. So now the actual output of the neuron of the 5 in the output layer, this is sigmoidal of y3 into w35, y4 into w45 minus y5. It is in 1 plus e to the power minus x. Then you can end up with this thing. Thus the following error is obtained. Okay, yd5 minus y5. So yd5, you know these actual things, it is a, I mean 0, and y5 is, it is a thing, so 0.5097. Now next step is, there's a this much of error is occurred. Okay, now next step is called the weight training. Now to update this weight and the threshold values, so in our network, so you have to propagate this error E from the output layer backward to the input layer. First we calculate the error gradient for the neuron 5. This is same way, that is this, then this error gradient for neuron 5 in the output layer. So del 5 y5 into 1 minus y5 into e, just do it. Now you have to determine the weight corrections. There is a weight corrections assuming that your learning rate parameter alpha is equal to 0.1. So now the same thing is a delta of W35 alpha into y3 into del 5 alpha is 0.1 into y3 that you have already computed, del 5 that is in minus something like that. Now W35 that you have computed, now this W45 computed. Now delta of theta 5, that is the alpha into -1 into del 5. So that is a minus 0.0127. Similarly, for next, you have to calculate the error gradients for neuron 3 and neuron 4 in the hidden layer. So now del 3 and del 4, the formula it is that. Then you have to determine the weight correction. Okay. So now for the weight correction, that is a there's a delta theta 3, and for the delta theta 4 is this thing. The only you just have to plug in, because if you know the formula, now you just put the value, plug in the values in the formula, then accordingly you can calculate it. Okay. Then at last we update all the weights and threshold. Okay, so W13, W14, W23, W24, W35, W45. Then you have this theta 3, that is theta 3 is equal to theta 3 plus delta of theta 3. This same process. Now this training process is repeated. So these things is being repeated until. So now what is the conditions to come out? The sum of squared error is less than of 0.001. Okay, now if you find, then after doing the error correction, now you have to check the error, the actual minus desired minus actual. Then you have to compute this sum of squared error, because why we are doing the sum of. So it is a very standard method that we have already found in the SSE in the linear regression also. The sum of squared error, if it is less than 0.001, then you stop it. Okay, so now there's a learning curve. Okay, there's a that many epochs, and there's a certain level. If you see that if your sum of square error, if it is a reducing, I mean, as you can see that error is reducing. Okay, at the sum of square error is 10 to the power minus 3, then you can stop it. Okay, so this is the way that people are using. So this is the final results of the 3 layer. Because it is a input is 110 0 1 1 1 0 1 0 0. So it is a desired output, and actual output that is being generated by 0.0155. It is obviously it is close to 0. 0.9849, it is also close to 1. It is close to 1. It is close to 0. Then the error is, I mean, less, very less. Then the sum of square error is 0.0010. Okay, so these are the things. So if you if you do not use it as like hidden layer, if you simply using this McCulloch-Pitts model, then also you can solve it in this way. So the decision boundary, that is a constructed by hidden neuron 3, a hidden neuron 4, and the decision boundary constructed by complete neural network. Okay, so these are the things that is to be here, and most important things is that is a one other PPT is there, that is a X1, and this is an XOR gate. So XOR data that cannot be use it. There is a multi-layer perceptron, that every node in the hidden layer, it operates on activation function that I already explained from the preceding layer, and it transmits the activation forward to the nodes in the next layer. Okay, so that's so it is also known as this feed-forward neural network. So now this multi-layer neural network with at least one hidden layer, it can solve any type of classification task involving nonlinear decision surface. So it is an XOR kind of thing. So now there's input layer, then you have the hidden layer, then from the hidden layer you are going to output layer. As you can see that these two datas are linear, I mean it is separable in a nonlinear decision surface. Okay, so these things is one class and these things is another class. Okay, so in this way that you can do it this problem. Suppose this why multiple hidden layers are required. So now activation functions that were used in the hidden layer, it can be viewed as a features which are extracted as a function of input. So features that are going to extracted as a function of inputs. Now every hidden layer, it represent a level of abstractions. Okay, So every hidden layer. Now, if you have these complex features are actually a composition of these simple features. Now, if you increase the number of layers, okay, that is the depth is also increased. So now depth of the NN is called the number of layers. So now if you use the deeper networks, which expresses the complex hierarchy of the features, and also it takes time to train, and training time is also large. So that also you need to take care of it. So these are the things, that is x1 to xp. There's a level 0, level layer 1, there's a layer L minus 1, then finally you can going to get this output. So here there's an activation value at node I. Okay, ith node at layer L, so AIL. So it is a just a functional approximations. Functional activation is a functional approximation of the inputs, that is into L. So actually Jedi is a linear predictor, that is a Wij. So Wij, it is an weight for the Lth layer, and Aij, it is a L minus 1 plus into Bi. So plus AI is the input. Okay, so yeah, and Bi is your bias. So it is a linear predictor. So as I already told, this is Z. It is a function of the. It is a linear predictor. So now this Aij L is equal to Zi plus, if you can write, and this function, this is a sigmoidal function, that is a AI L. You can use it as a 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x. So we can simply write. So you can have linear function, sigmoidal function, tan hyperbolic function, sine function. So there's a lot of functions, activation functions are there. So you can apply it in the respective neurons so that you can get this output. So now whenever you're going to learn it, so if you can apply a perceptron learning rule to each node, including these hidden nodes. Now this perceptron learning rule, it computes the error, that is a E is equal to y minus y hat. So y is your desired and y hat is your actual, which is generated by this is your network, and you have to update the weight accordingly. Now problem is that how to determine the true value of y for the hidden nodes. There is an approximate error in the hidden nodes by error in the output nodes. Here there is a no guarantee of the convergence to get the optimal solution, and it is not clear how adjustment in the hidden nodes affect the overall error. Okay, now here that's why we are going to use the gradient descent method. This is a very popular method. This is a loss functions, that is you have to use loss function to measure the errors across all the trading points. So now sum of square error that we need to, this is a E of WB. As I already told you, this function has to be minimized in terms of two parameters W and B. That is the k is equal to 1 to n loss of yk into yk hat. So now if you do the sum of simply the square error, square rows, you just do the square term of the yk minus yk dash, yk minus yk hat. Now gradient descent, you have to update this parameter in the direction of maximum descent in the loss function across all the points, where this is a lambda is a learning rate, and there's a two parameters. There's a wij in the lth layer and bil, this is in the lth layer. So it is a wij minus lambda, that is a del e. You have to do the partial differentiation with respect to w and b. Okay, the same way that we have already done it. Instead of using this gradient, you can use this stochastic gradient descent also, because here they update the weight for every instances. Okay, that also you can do it. Now this computing the gradient, so just do the differentiations. So actually it is a process how it is coming. Okay, so it is a derivation is there, so I can share the PPT, you can go through it. There's a del E by del Wij, and then using, you have to do the chain rule of differentiation on a single instances. That is a del loss or del L by del Wijl, then del loss by del I, then del I by del J, then del J by del W. So for sigmoidal activation function, we have to use, this is a del loss by del Wijl. So if you just remember, there is the same formula that we are going to use. AI okay, into 1 minus ai into there's a del I into ai aj into l minus 1. This is same formula, only just notation problem. So now for the output layer that you have to compute. So the output layer for the del that we have already computed for this. What is the error gradient? So del is called the error gradient for the output layer and the error gradient in the hidden layer. So there's a summation is there sum of. So now gradient at layer L that can be computed using gradient at layer L plus 1. So that already explained. You have to start from layer L to all previous layer, and you have to use the gradient descent to update weights at every epoch. That is the main objective. And for next epoch, okay, because in pth iteration, then in p plus 1 for next epoch, use updated weights. So now the old weights will be replaced by the updated weights. Use updated weights to compute the again loss function in error and its error and its gradient. So iterate until it converges. I mean, then there will not be no significant changes in output. I mean, loss does not change. So now these are the design issues that this is the number of nodes in the input layer. The one input node per binary or continuous attribute, or k nodes for each categorical attribute that you maintain. And then how many number of nodes in the output layer? So one output for binary class problem, and these k outputs, k nodes for k class problem, and the number of hidden layers and the nodes per layer, and initial weights and bias that you have to choose randomly. So you have to also take the learning rate for the number of epoch accordingly. So these are the characteristics of ANN. Multilayer ANN are universal approximations but could suffer from overfitting problem. Okay, so these disadvantage is that so multilayer perceptron are the universal approximations, but it could suffer from overfitting problem because there's a lot of like this there is overfitting. So there's one is overfitting, another is called the underfitting. So when bias is large, variance is small, there is overfitting. Bias is small, variance is large, there is called the underfitting. Okay, so in general that we used to have. So here you could suffer from the overfitting if the network is too large. If the network is very too small, then also you have the underfitting. But the network is too large, there is an overfitting problem. So there is a trade-off. Now the gradient descent may converge to local minimum. I already told you. So model building, it can be very time consuming, but the testing could be very fast. Okay. Now it can handle the redundant and irrelevant attributes because weights are automatically learned from these all attributes. So these ANN are very sensitive to noise in training data, and it is difficult to handle missing attributes. So these are advantages. Anyway, so this is the things all about this ANN. So you need to apply it. Okay, you need to apply it in your next programs. I mean tomorrow's lab. So very simple, only AND gate and XOR gate. You have to implement AND gate and XOR gate. Those who have already completed the LDA, so they can go with these things. Okay, I'll just share this PPT now. So thank you. So today that's all for today. Any doubts? So you can ask me. And please timely send. I mean submit your assignment. Okay. Timely submit your assignment. And those who have joined late, so I'll just suggest them, please take all the materials from your batchmates who are attending the classes right from the beginning. Sir, or in the meantime also, if you have any doubts also, you can directly call me. Okay, any other things.
So when do we have to submit the LD assignment?
LD assignments, Joyita, did Joyita give you any date?
No, sir. Last we had to submit the PCA.
Because PCA you guys are taking means lot of times to implement. Okay. So because this theory, I was thinking this theory class and parallel. I mean, this is a practical class will be going on parallelly. But we are very. I mean, step be. I mean, not step ahead. We are in the backward. Okay. So anyway, so next week probably in the coming Sunday or next Wednesday you need to submit the LDA. Okay. Because
Okay.
after LDA that you need to start implement this neural network, na? Otherwise, K-means clustering, algorithm, decision tree, all the things will come up one by one. Because it is a one part. Next class, I'll talk about there is a radial basis function network, then probabilistic neural network. Okay, so if you have to fast little bit, okay, otherwise it is getting delayed. Okay, so thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow.